Vice President Kashim Shettima calls for urgent debt relief, improve access to trade and financing at UNGA 80. Tinubu's reforms ended businesses' reliance on Central Bank of Nigeria's forex, says Rabiu. Central Bank of Nigeria warns against Naira hoarding ahead of Yuletide. Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission rejects 8.4 trillion naira oil theft report, says crude losses down by 90%. Oil prices deep as investors take profits after 7-week high. Just as Asia Pacific markets trade mixed as investors sell tech names on Wall Street. The program is Business Express, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital. I am Benny Adams, your guide. Good to have you join us at this time, and it's that time we talk business as we bring you up to speed with happenings in the world of business, from the market square to the boardrooms around the world. And we'll start by telling you that Vice President Kashim Shettima's address at the UNGA 80 focused on showcasing Nigeria as a prime investment destination and highlighting the economic reforms under the renewed hope agenda of the present administration. Shettima called for urgent sovereign debt relief and improve access to trade and financing for developing countries. He also stressed that mineral-rich countries must benefit from the natural wealth through investment and local processing. Let's take a listen.
Is that the path to sustainable peace lies in growth and prosperity. The government has taken difficult but necessary steps to restructure our economy and remove distortions, including subsidies and currency controls that benefited the few at the expense of the many. I believe in the power of the market to transform. Our task is to enable and facilitate, and to trust in the ingenuity and enterprise of the people. But the process of transition is difficult and brings unavoidable hardship. This year, we held the inaugural West African Economic Summit in Abuja to bring investors and opportunities together. The results far exceeded our expectations and are a clear indication of what innovation can deliver. It is in that same spirit of dynamic review that I invite the United Nations to re-examine the best use of scarce resources. One critical area is climate change. It is not an abstract issue about an indeterminate fate to be settled at some distant point in the future. It is not even solely an environmental issue. It is about national, regional, and international security. It is about irregular migration. Truly, this is an everyone issue. We are all stakeholders, and we are all beneficiaries of the best outcomes. Madam President, this is why relevant ministers have been instructed to work with the UN to make the best use of climate funds. We believe there are huge shared dividends to accrue from increased support for education, for resilient housing, for access to technology and financing, to allow vulnerable communities to thrive, to become part of solutions rather than problems. Nigeria and Africa have made significant strides in recent years to put our affairs in order. We can take that progress to the next level, a level that presents new opportunities for trade, investment, and profit, if we can assess reforms to strengthen the international financial architecture. We need urgent action to promote debt relief, not as an act of charity, but as a clear path to the peace and prosperity that benefits us all. I'm calling for new and binding mechanism to manage sovereign debt, a sort of international court of justice for money that will allow emerging economies to escape the economic straitjacket of primary production of unprocessed exports. It has been over 4 decades since the Lagos Plan of Action outlined a route away from debt and dependence that highlighted opportunities that today should still be explored for local added value for processing and manufacturing in everything from agriculture to solid minerals and petrochemicals. The African Continental Free Trade Area is a remarkable achievement of cooperation. We remain fully committed to the achievement of the SDGs and are convinced that this can be best delivered by focusing principally on our primary mission of growth and prosperity.
Out from the UN National General Assembly back home here, if the Naira could actually talk, it would cry out for care. And that plea is being heard by the Central Bank of Nigeria as it launches a nationwide campaign to end the abuse of the country's most powerful national symbol. Musa Abubakar has that report.
From the markets to the dance floors, Nigeria's Naira has suffered abuse, sprayed at parties, mutilated, and even traded illegally. Now, the Central Bank of Nigeria is saying enough is enough, launching a nationwide roadshow to restore dignity to the national currency. The campaign flag off in Abuja will travel across major cities, teaching Nigerians that respecting the Naira is respecting the nation itself.
We handle our notes with clear and collaborate across all sectors. We unconsciously or consciously extend the lifespan of our currency, reduce avoidable costs.
It is the civic duty of every Nigerian to respect the Naira and keep it clean to safeguard its integrity. The Naira is our critical symbol of national identity.
Beyond penalties, the CBN warns that mishandling the Naira shortens its lifespan, increases printing costs, and drains public resources.
Now, the federal government, through the Industrial Training Fund, has trained, certified, and about to license 30,000 artisans in project management, among other professional certifications. Here, Trulia reports that plans to export talents outside Nigeria has also reached advanced stage. In here is a batch of 30,000 artisans out of a total of 100,000 under the Skill Up Artisans program of the federal government. They are being assessed after receiving on project management.
The government is supporting us. We will give you trainees. We will pay for the trainees.
For the Director General of the Industrial Training Fund, Nigeria is not just training artisans, it is certifying a future workforce ready to compete globally. And the assessment is to ensure every certificate awarded is not just paper, but a proof of real-world skills.
We have people that do strong shoes, strong bags, nice dresses, good dresses, but the finishings are not up to international standard. We are taking some people to Italy very soon. We have discussed with Italian embassy. They've linked up with the international training centers of international repute to train our trainer.
Once we elevate project management skills, you see proper planning, you see proper management of work, and you see less risk, less wastes on materials. And you begin to see these people understand how to actually deliver work that gives value to the clients.
Stakeholders here are of the view that the SUPA certification is becoming a seal of excellence, a national badge that says these artisans know their craft.
So it's going to increase my profits by planning, by organizing, and by delivering my goods in time.
I've gone through again the second phase. It's not just a waste. I will showcase myself. I will give them what I just learned.
ITF says the vision doesn't stop at Nigeria's borders, but with internationally benchmarked training, these young professionals are not just preparing for jobs at home, they are being groomed for global demand. Well, now to the conversation. Globally, artisan enterprises help employ hundreds of thousands of people and are second largest employer in the developing world. It is widely proven that supporting artisans can actually help balance gender inequality and support local economies, both in developed and developing economies, as well as preserve and promote culture and sustainability. As the world becomes more focused on sustainability and ethical consumption, artisan-led businesses are emerging as powerful drivers of economic growth and community development. To shed more light on why artisans will be powerful in the new economy is Henry Mbadiwe. He is the Registrar of Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria. Mr. Mbadiwe, you're welcome to Business Express at this time.
Good morning. Thank you.
Well, saw you on the streets yesterday, your partnership with the Industrial Training Fund certifying artisans that were trained in various skills in project management. Can you tell us what that actually means? I had some of the beneficiaries say they are now experts, they are now certified as project managers, they are about to start growing their business from ground zero to up there. I like the optimism, but can you realistically tell us what that means and the possible impact on the economy?
All right. Now, realistically, what you have to understand is that these artisans have now been trained in a certain skill set that would have a positive impact in the work that they do. Now, one of the things we have to understand is that when it comes to artisan development or any sort of development, intellectual or skill development, you have a technical side of it and there's the soft skill side of it. And I think this is where we are sitting in this soft skill side of it, which is often overlooked. All right. So when you're dealing with an artisan, and that artisan, for example, has to fix a car, and the artisan has 5 different cars to fix, that person needs to understand how to plan that activity. Most of us get frustrated when we are dealing with artisans, either making clothes for us or fixing our vehicles or the carpentry works for us. And you find that, they tell you come today to be ready today and then it's not. And then you feel disappointed and then there are issues again of communication and all of that. Sometimes, what is delivered is not what you've asked for. All of this boils down to the ability to plan, the ability to understand requirements, the ability to manage changes, and the ability to be able to foresee the risks and to mitigate this risk to help them deliver appropriately to you. So what this ITF Super Program is doing by introducing project management skills to these artisans is to help them ensure that they deliver the actual requirements to the clients. Now, this project management certification that they've gotten has proved that they have gone through that level 1 stage of understanding project management and the ability to use the skill set, to apply the skill sets that they've now been certified okay to do. All right. Now, within CIPMN, we have different levels of certifications. All right. There are certifications for professionals, as you would find in different other sectors like oil and gas or the banking sector and all of that. So we have fellow categories, there are the chartered categories, but the categories that we have created for the artisan is that artisanry understanding of project management and the ability to be able to apply that. All right. It doesn't categorically mean that they are now chartered project managers, at the level as CIPMN gives that.
Okay, still on the artisanal scale, not going the pro for now. We have, under the Super Program, we have 100,000 artisans selected. Yesterday, we saw a badge of about 30,000 nationwide going through this examination. Yes, you've mentioned this certification that is going to help in their business. What is the possible next step? And these numbers, how impactful will these numbers be across the country?
All right. So, yesterday, 30,000 artisans went through the exam all over the Federation. So, all of the states of the Federation, including the FCT. And within each state, sometimes you have 3, 4, 5 centers within a state. But this is just the first step. And I believe that this first batch of 100,000, and again, this is completely driven by the ITF Super Program. Yes. Project management is just one section of the entire plan, all right, that ITF has in terms of delivering the Super Program. But what you can begin to see is now you have 30,000 artisans that have gone through the exams and have been certified in terms of this soft skill area, and they're going to be going into their technical skills, and very soon they'll be pushed out there into the world. And what you begin to see in Nigeria now is that you begin to see artisans who have a bit more understanding of how to deal with clients and how to manage their own business. You will begin to see artisans who you would approach and say, I want to build a cabinet. And they would not just be after, for example, okay, you want to build it for your room. Okay, what do you want? And I'm going to deliver what you want. No, an artisan is going to be asking you questions like, oh, so this cabinet, how often, what do you want to use it for? Is it just for clothes? Do you want to have shoes in it? Do you want to have something else? And the artisan will begin to gather requirements and help. You begin to see artisans that would help, clients to even look deeper into what they want. We've seen situations where you've asked artisans to do something and they've delivered what you've asked for. And then you come to that realization that this is not really what you want, But artisans today would now begin to ask the relevant questions. They will gather proper requirements. They will plan that work properly. And if there is they will talk to you about changes and how to manage changes. And this would help both us and them have that idea that, look, it is beyond just delivering a product. It is delivering a product that meets the need of the clients.
Okay, away from artisans, let's talk about the professionals. There is this depth in expertise in terms of delivering projects, which has led to so many abandoned projects in Nigeria. Not just the abandoned projects, we have issues of building collapse. Yes, you have professional engineers, you have architects involved, you have builders involved. Yet we have issues around delivering projects and delivering them at top notch. What's CIPMN doing to ensure professionalism in this light, to kind of reduce the kind of damages, the losses we're having, not just in Naira, but also in lives?
So it's a very important question, and I think it permeates through all sectors of the economy. One thing that you have to understand is that project management is not just focused on we're going to deliver this particular product, we want to build a house and want to get that done, and you bring in the engineer, you bring in, the architect and all of this. No. These individuals are subject matter experts. There is a skill set that has to do. And whenever I talk about planning, it sounds like, I sound like a broken record. You're always talking about planning. But yes, all right, what can help you to find less abandoned projects in Nigeria today is proper planning, proper change management, and proper risk management. These are some of the skill sets that we need to focus on. And what you have to understand, buildings don't build themselves. Economies do not build themselves. Infrastructures don't develop themselves. Human beings do this. Human capital development is key to building any nation. You have to ensure that you have professionals within the economy, professionals within the system building that particular nation. The reason why you go to developed nations like the UK and the US is because they have standards. They follow these standards, and you have professionals who use these standards to deliver products. In Nigeria, CIPMN has been created by the National Assembly and assented to by the President to put in place standards in project delivery in Nigeria across every sector, and to ensure that professionals adhere to these standards and that they use these standards in delivering projects. What our job is, which our mandate dictates, is that you cannot be allowed to lead a project or to deliver a project in Nigeria if you are not a licensed project manager. Just the way you would not allow an individual to be a medical practitioner if they're not a licensed medical practitioner, or be a legal practitioner if they're not a licensed legal practitioner. You cannot lead a project in Nigeria unless you are licensed by the Chartered Institute of Project Management, or Project Managers of Nigeria, because we need to ensure that the skill set that you have is followed through in accordance to the precepts that the Institute has put in place.
Thank you very much, Henry Mbadiwe, Registrar Chartered Institute of Project Managers of Nigeria, for your contribution at this time. We're going to follow up to ensure that these standards apply, and not just in the buildings, not just in the artisanal space, but also in delivering every project across the economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has continued to prevail on captains of industries in a bid to support his administration's drive in sustaining the downward trend in the prices of commodities, especially food items. The president on Wednesday received the chairman of Boa Group, Alhaji Abdul Samad Rabiu, in the State House with discussion centered on food prices. In an interview with our State House correspondent after their meeting behind closed doors, Rabiu commended the president for various reforms leading to stability in the economy, including the duty waiver on some food items and harmonization of foreign exchange, among others.
I expect that the rate should come down to maybe 1,300 to 1,400 naira before the end of the year. Really, for all of this, we must give full credit to His Excellency and the government. You know, there are bold reforms and decisive policies creating the foundation for a stronger economy, a more stable currency, and a better future for businesses and Nigerians alike.
Nigeria is to continue to support the administration in order to sustain the positive improvement in prices of commodities. Now, the Lagos Commodities and Futures Exchange has officially listed a Rice Classic contract valued at 23.4 billion, marking a major milestone in the transformation of Nigeria's agricultural and commodities sector. So let's now take a trip to the commodities market and see what numbers have been posted at this time. Now, the federal government says it remains committed to the goal of transforming the country's livestock sector by boosting productivity, enhancing resilience, and unlocking new opportunities through the commercialization of livestock. Toyin Batire reports that the National Project Coordinator of Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support Project, LPRES, Abubakar Sanusi, stated this while on an assessment tour of sub-projects initiated by the Development Project in Ondo State.
Our assessment so far is satisfactory. We have seen the work. The SEO is doing their best. They are trying. They are working. But, you know, as a technical mission, we can see one or two places that maybe needs improvement in terms of specification, in terms of ventilation. I've seen a lot of activities that are going on the cold chain facility inside Akure, and they are doing well. Only that we have to advise them on how do you improve what you are doing.
The purpose of all what we are doing in Airpress is to increase productivity, resilience, and commercialization in the states.
Now, our prices urged down as investors booked profits after a jump to a 7-week high during the prior session on a surprise drop in the U.S. weekly crude inventories and concerns Ukraine's attacks on Russia's energy infrastructure could disrupt supplies, thereby leading to Brent futures dropping 18 cents to $69.13 a barrel, while the U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures dropped 20 cents to $64.79 a barrel. Both benchmarks gained 2.5% in the previous session. Now to Nigeria's stock market. The Nigeria stock market recorded its third consecutive loss as sell pressure on MTN Nigeria Communications as well as 28 others dragged the market capitalization down by 135.13 billion naira, which is to say investors actually lost 135 billion. The exchange also depreciated by 213.50 basis points to close at 140,716.10 basis points from 140,929.60 basis points, with the month to date and year to date returning settled lower at 0.3% as well as 36.7%. Consequently, the market capitalization lost 135.13 billion to close at 89.063 trillion from 89.199 trillion naira. Well, let's look at the stocks at the global stage where Asia Pacific markets traded mixed on Thursday after investors continued selling tech names on Wall Street like Nvidia and Oracle for a second straight day. Let's look at the numbers. Well, it's a wrap on this edition of Business Express. We do value your feedback, so keep the comments, observations coming. Be informed that all previous episodes are also available on YouTube and other social media platforms. Business Express returns tomorrow. Do keep a date with us while you keep thinking and on business.